We have launched.
We have completely launched. We've started the show, and it is Planet Green Cheese. We're about to embark 2 hours of medical marijuana and marijuana reform in Michigan, and nationally, and internationally, and even in Spaceland. Please welcome Tim Beck.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Really glad to be on the show.
Thanks for staying with us. Planet Green Cheese, episode number 395. Is that right?
Correct.
Calling it Working Man. For those that are on the end, know what that means. There's an argument that we evolved from the cannabis plant. Let's just be honest, okay?
Ow, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
420th episode. Yeah! Please welcome Steve Miller.
Steve Miller.
Ow.
Thank you for the kind words, Mike.
We're here now still with Q, who, as I was trying to lay some kind of foundation before all the objections came, as it happens sometimes. What kind of agenda here I see? I usually resist agendas, and I will tell you that I'm not really going to follow this.
This is a celebratory of the 420th show. Anything goes.
Please welcome my dear friend, looking like very Dylan-esque tonight, maybe. More Laszlo Dylan-esque, if there's a thing. Jeff Frazier.
President's ever had more people at their arraignment than I have. That's really funny.
If you're a connoisseur, you're going to want the good stuff. And if you want the good stuff, you're going to go for the mom and pop stuff because that's the good stuff.
We got only Jamie Lowell.
Hey, don't leave the studio.
Don't leave the studio, Jamie Lowell.
It's just a real pleasure to come here and congratulate you on your 420th show, and thank you for having me on a few times over the 420.
Alrighty.
We have
launched. Alrighty. The big show.
Huge.
Very excited to begin here as a show number 500 and saying that
500
episodes.
500.
The 11th.
It's. I want to thank everybody who helped put this together. I know a lot of people are in the waiting room, and a lot of people have been involved in gathering those folks and taming them to get into the room and not letting them know that they can't get out now. Alan may have had something to do with that, but no, thank you everyone that's participating tonight. I know it's exciting and kind of weird that it's been this long, but we're going to have a show. We have a lot of people going to talk, and we got some topics to talk about and throw things around and get everyone's perspective on things. And with the number of people on the list here, everyone gets about 32 seconds, so we'll be able to get through this by 12:30 tonight. Just kidding.
It's going to be just like Lame Duck, and we're just going to go to 4 in the morning.
There you go. As long as we get something done, right? No, I'm kidding. So,
Jimmy's got wings.
So we've got. I didn't get to tell you. We wrote down possible topics to talk about. These are really deep and introspective. We got to wait a little later in the evening to see how everyone's feeling, and are you satisfied with your life, kind of stuff. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
They were there's some good ones. It's just very good. But all right, so I guess what we're going to do is we're going to introduce everyone here and everyone in the Zoom that's going to be participating, and then we're going to throw it out to some of the topics and get some of the guests on. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to start. We got to start cycling through them quick because they're going to be coming in groups, and we've already got a whole room full.
Right. Just for the record, today's the 4th of February, year 2021, episode 500. I guess we're calling it, and we're still rocking it. Should I go through the list of guests? Okay, yeah, let me just run through these. I know Earl here?
He's coming.
I heard he was.
Okay, whatever. Fine.
I heard he was in row.
Here's a guest real quick. We got John Schlickler, David Rudoi, Rhory Gould, Tim Beck, Brad Forrester, Charmie Gholson, Neil Rockind, Chad Morrow, Eric Gunnels, Earl Carruthers, Nick Zettell, Anquenette Sarfoh, Q, Adam Brook, Kristine Beebe, Ryan Basore, Adam Tasselmeyer, Darryl Stavros, Shyler Engle, and Michael Thue. In addition to those, and so they're all...
Tim Beck.
Some of
I
them.
wouldn't be complete without Shyler.
Anyway, so I'm very excited.
Dewey.
Even that somebody talked to them here. Okay, that's the story. That's what we're going to go through. Get to some topics, and so let me do this. I know I've tried to in the introduction instead of going on. I've asked a couple questions. I thought I came up with one for tonight, which is kind of. In the past, I asked the questions of if you went back in history, who would you want to be? I said one of them was what hero, if you could, who do you consider a hero? What animal would you want to be if you could change it to an animal? This is what I want to do tonight. So we go around. if it's happened, no judgment. When was the first time you smoked cannabis? What was the setting and who was with you? How about that? That's a good question, right? Yeah. If you have. I'm figuring most people have, Ron. Is that right? Possible? Most people have tried cannabis? Anyways, the bunker guys, of course, Tommy, Dan, and Justin don't have to answer. I'm advising them to take the fifth right now. Oh, we do have a scanner on to them, and I'm moving. All right. But with that being said, please welcome Jim Powers, the one and only Jim Powers.
It was Jamie Lowell, and I was 35.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for all your helping in this. I know you've held it together and been very pivotal keeping it going here. Here we go. We got Dewey Thomas is here, second week in a row. I haven't seen him in months. Totally empty. Dewey, what's your story? How you been?
I love you.
I love you too, my man. Tell me this. Did you hear the question we're asking? When was the first time you ingested cannabis, and who were you with, and how old were you?
It was so long ago, I don't remember.
All right, fine. Okay, you don't have to. It's like you can take the fifth.
But he did tell me a story once about
1960 something.
He taught. There was somebody that tossed a whole handful of seeds, and then he saw, the field of green.
I see.
So
all right, I see.
He's no stranger to Mary Jane.
I realize that the question is kind of invasive, and I was thinking about I could frame it like, when was the first time you ingested cannabis sativa L, 3.3% of THC or less? So we'll just call it that, okay? All right.
Hey, how many of you people out here remember Goose Lake Music Festival?
I've heard stories.
At Grass Lake.
Grass Lake?
Yeah, Grass Lake right out here on I-94, and it was as big as Woodstock. Okay, and it was 1971, and was a beautiful time. And
that has something to do with the question I asked you before, is when you may have first had
that was the first time I ever did acid.
Okay.
And I was
taking it there.
And I was on my motorcycle.
Nice.
And I literally had to put
riding bicycles on his motorcycle.
Yeah. Oops. There's a.
Should I be advising you to take the fifth real quick? Just kidding.
But that's how long ago it was.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. I'd ask more questions, but I'm afraid of what answers we may get. Just kidding. Please welcome. Amanda really put all this together, and I thank you very much. You were solid and been a great organizer for all the Planet Green Trees festivities, and I really appreciate that. And thank you. And of course, you can check Amanda's YouTubing.
My work, my handiwork.
I was going to say.
Yeah, there's definitely some YouTube videos out there. Some are informational, but most of it's just for fun. And I'm really happy to be here. And we've got a bunch of people in the waiting room that are looking forward to celebrating this milestone with us.
Yep. So what do you got? You got an answer for the question?
The first time I'm going to admit to, clearly I was of age, I tried some hemp products as a wee lass of probably about 14 or 15,
Sure, okay, perfect. Okay, that's perfect. So Steve Miller, of course, from the Steve Miller Band and
Fly Like an Eagle.
Fly Like an Eagle, and the Rover here at Komorn And who's the guy you liked? Who was the guy at the show with the John
Wick?
Hey, John Wick. He's kind of John Wick in it tonight. John Wick in it tonight.
No, you reminded me of John Wick today. It was like the scene out of a movie.
I feel like you're ready to go.
Michael was before the High Lord of the court today. And when he went to go speak, they said, "No, sir, you're not endorsed. We have rules.
Funny.
We must follow the rules. Without them, we are with the animals." This is straight out of a John Wick movie, I swear to God.
That's good stuff. All right, so what's your story? You may want to take the fifth, too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I asked some really prying questions. Other people may not care as much.
Oddly, I have a close answer to Jim. It was with Jamie Lowell.
There you go.
I was about 44 years old, and I had obtained my medical marijuana card, patient card by this time, but I didn't have the chance to try it until Jamie Lowell confronted me one night at the Rooster Tail. And before I was speaking,
I remember that
He
night.
handed me a vape pen and
I
says,
remember.
"You better hit this, or I'm going to still think you're a cop."
Those were literally his exact
So what else
words.
was I to do? First time I'd ever tried marijuana, just then forced by Jamie Lowell.
Jamie is responsible for everything.
It was good, Jamie. I'm glad you broke it. It was great.
You left out that I grabbed you by the scruff of the neck. Had you about 2 inches lifted off the ground, and I was staring into your eyes.
That was part of it, yeah. It was scary. It was a...
First of all, I got to say something.
It was good, honest bullying on his part, but I'm glad he did it.
If these two
I
stories,
really enjoy cannabis now.
If these two stories are even close to being true, which I don't think they are, it tells you how far we really haven't gotten. If people are like afraid to disclose and be fair, but we'll see how we do here. But obviously, it's all Jamie's fault so far. What do you mean, wrap it up? We're going to the Zoom room. Here we go. We got in the Zoom room. We got the Rasta Rabbi, the Cannabis Kepi, and supporting the Corn Law. Allen Peisner, also known as Uncle Allen at times, and the Zoom master of all masters. Thank you for being here, Allen. What's going on?
Thank you for having me on show number 500, and the first time I smoked was 1973.
Wow.
Smoked with Tony Nader. Never forget it. Offered me my first joint.
Nice.
It was actually a bowl, wasn't a joint.
I was probably just learning how to walk about then.
Yeah, I was going to be boring.
Was there peer pressure involved?
No. He asked me if I wanted to get high, and I said yes. I didn't tell him I'd never tried it before, though.
Okay.
So I smoked the wrong end of the pipe the first time.
That's nice. All right, moving around the room here, we've got Attorney Alyssa McCormick.
With baby in tow.
With baby in tow.
Yeah, and got the new baby Louie. Layla is over on the couch being a little grumpy right now. I tried to bring her over too.
I'll
but
bet she is.
Looks like she's sleeping, so he had to introduce the new baby Louie to everyone.
What is that exactly? What is that?
He's a miniature dash hound.
Okay,
just
all right,
like
I know.
Layla.
I know. I knew that, but I just wanted to explain it. It's got the same coloring as like an African wild dog. I like that. That's a good.
An African wild dog.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he might as well be.
Yeah.
He might be big.
Is he part Doberman? He looks got a Doberman coloring.
Is he part Doberman? No, I don't think so. I hope not.
I mean, his coloring.
That'd be great. A Doberman, a Doberman wiener dog. That'd be wonderful.
Have you
I
noticed?
mean, he got weighed today, and he's 3.18 pounds. So I don't think he's going to be too big.
Well, he's just going to start elongating. He doesn't grow any taller. It just
Yeah, he's just going to get stretched out.
The correlation between
I can't even
the dogs
Don't,
that
Jim,
it
why?
would take.
Visual.
Oh, boy.
All right, Allie. Allie, I don't know. I may advise you against taking it, answering the question, but it was posed at like what age and who are you with, and was it memorable or not? The first ingestions of cannabis.
Oh, first PGT show.
Okay.
That's the first time she ever.
Sitting next to Jamie Lowell.
Jamie there?
Just kidding.
I mean, the first one that I can really remember.
Ever? We're talking about ever. We're talking about.
Was the 420 show.
No, not the show.
No.
When was the first time you smoked marijuana?
Yes.
Oh, first time I smoked pot. Oh, I can answer this. I mean, I was like in 7th grade.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Ohio laws are different, I think. That's why it's.
Yeah, it was decrim.
Well, we're making some. Alan, should we delete that? I don't know. Let me get a lawyer's opinion. We're going to lawyer Jeff Frazier, who is going to advise us who should be taking the 5th here or not. I mean,
a whole lot of them.
First of all, does it depend what state we're in? Like Jeff may not be able to answer those questions. Jeff, wait, Jeff, don't disclose where you are, just so we don't run into any problems of. Just kidding. First of all, welcome Jeff Frazier from all over the place. He's the.
Hi, Jeff.
What's happening? Everything all right over there?
So let's see. When was the first time you ever indulged in the ganj, the sticky icky?
Well, I'm not Jeff, and it was junior high. Junior high, deer camp, campfire, full moon, and as well as I can tell, like Bob Seger Night Moves record.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
And so it must have been mid to late 70s. I'm guessing 76, 77, something like that. And I stared at the campfire all night, howled at the moon all night, woke up and ate 12 eggs.
Nice.
And here we are.
See, that's what the kind of answer I was looking. Thank you for participating, Jeffrey.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. But I just do want to put that's an A answer right there. He went all in. I was looking for like the place setting. You know, throw the people you're with under the bus. Who you know? And I really wanted to do everyone because a lot of times I don't think people get affected when they first ingest, do they? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. We've got one more on the Zoom here. If I'm not mistaken, it's the one and only Jamie Lowe, who is really the longest still attached to Planet Green Trees of all of them. He's survived all the
He's a survivor.
Mountain climbing and river swimming. That's right, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Right on, 500.
And Jamie, of course, that's at 500. 500. How's everything going over there? Do you have a good thing going on? What's your first experience with cannabis, if any?
I have sisters, older sisters, 5, 7, and 8 years older, and I was about 8 years old. I was in a car with my sister and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend lit up a joint and handed it to me, thinking it was funny. I think I hit it a few times, and that was cool. I'd seen such behavior go down, and I hit it. I smoked between 8 and like 13 or so. I smoked probably 5, 6 times and never really felt it.
Yeah, and then at 13, you took a 6-month break.
I was actually with, if you know the car dealership around the area in Oakland County there, Dean Sellers. I was with Dean Sellers. He had some really awesome cannabis and smoked some, and I definitely got really high for the first time that night.
So that was the first time when you're 8, that's when it happened, or this is another time?
First time I smoked, first time I got high, I was like 13.
Okay. It's kind of, I'm horrified by an 8-year-old smoking marijuana, by the way. I don't know, I just, maybe my parenting. It's hard to hear sometimes. Yeah, that's insane, by the way. But the
world ended up being a better place.
Obviously.
Because of it.
But all right, so good. Should we take a break? Listen, we got it all in. Jamie, thank you very much. We're
going to take a very quick break.
Got to stick to schedule.
Very schedule. And then we're going to come back and we're going to bring on our first batch of guests.
We got a ton of
I want to thank everybody for being so patient with us as we get started. But you're listening to Planet Green Trees. This is show 500, and we'll be right back.
See you in a minute.
Okay. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks. We'll do it.
It's time for Planet Green.
We have launched.
We've completely launched. We've started the show, and it is Planet Green Trees. We're about to embark 2 hours of medical marijuana and marijuana reform in Michigan, and nationally and internationally, and even in Spaceland. Please welcome Tim Beck.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Really glad to be on the show.
Thanks for staying with us. Planet Green Trees, episode number 395. Is that right?
Correct.
Calling it Working Man. For those that are on the end, know what that means. There's an argument that we evolved from the cannabis plant. Let's just be honest, okay?
Ow, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
420th episode. Yeah! Please welcome Steve Miller.
Steve Miller. Ow. Thank you for the kind words, Mike.
We're here now still with Q, who, as I was trying to lay some kind of foundation before all the objections came, as it happens sometimes. I've got an agenda here. I see. I usually resist agendas, and I will tell you that I'm not really going to follow this.
This is a celebratory of the 420th show. Anything goes.
Please welcome my dear friend, looking like very Dylan-esque tonight, maybe more Laszlo Dylan-esque. If there's a thing. Jeff Frazier.
I've had more people to Raymond than I am. That's really funny.
If you're a connoisseur, you're going to want the good stuff. And if you want the good stuff, you're going to go for the mom and pop stuff because that's the good stuff.
We got Jamie Lowe.
Hey, don't leave the studio.
Don't leave the studio, Jamie Lowe.
It's just a real pleasure to come here and congratulate you on your 420th show, and thank you for having me on a few times over the 420.
John Or no, let's do
Is
this.
he?
Hey, everybody, Tommy's on the line. You'd like to say hello? Jamie, if you want to pass that around, everybody can kind of say hi to them and maybe light up if they want. And I do actually have some official Chong's Choice California bud. Let's see, let's get one of these, okay? I'm doing it for America. Where's Deborah?
So Tommy Chong is on the line. Why don't we put a microphone up to Tommy? Hey Rick, how about, can you put that microphone up? Put the microphone up to Tommy.
Once Tommy makes his way around, because he can't.
I see. I see.
Oh, he's kidding. Oh, man. All right. Hold on. Oh, your friend's gonna say hello. Hey guys, something to say real quick. It's Charmie, and I quit smoking tobacco over a year and a half ago, based on what you told me. Use joints. Don't smoke tobacco, cannabis. And I want to thank you, man. I've been over a year and a half. Thank you. And, thanks, man. Have a great day.
Hi, Charlie.
Who's our Charlie?
Hey,
what's happening?
Peace and love, Tommy.
Great idea. Yeah. Wonderful.
I think Jamie did a poor job. He had one job. It's so loud in here.
All right, here we go. Mic coming in.
All right, Jamie.
I don't know if you want to try to put that up to the microphone.
Let's put that up to the mic, Jamie.
All right.
Put it right up to the mic.
Hey, man.
So we got Tommy here.
So do you have a legalization message for us, Tommy?
Yeah, you suck, you don't blow.
Good advice, some man who knows.
Unless you have to. Then you do what you gotta do.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's, yeah, Tommy, are you celebrating with Michigan today? Doing anything special in town?
Yeah, I forgot all about it, tell you the truth. But I'm in Toronto doing a television show, so I'll definitely mention Michigan when I do the show tomorrow.
Are you doing another dancing show, Tommy? Because we love you on that one.
No, I'm still recovering from the last one, man. I'm still trying to find out why the hell I went and put myself through all that. But I'm still dancing, though.
Well, Tommy, we wouldn't be where we're at here in Michigan without the work that you've done, without the foundation that you laid, and without the way that you helped to normalize cannabis use throughout the United States of America. So the entire state owes you big debt. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. My pleasure, my pleasure. I'd do it over again if I had the chance.
When are you coming back? When are you going to be back in town?
I have no idea.
Oh, this guy.
I just go week to week, month to month. I don't know.
We heard great reviews of your recent performance with Cheech up at the casino here in Michigan. Good job.
Yeah.
I was there. It was awesome.
Yeah, they're.
Oh my God, it was so
So Matthew Abel from Cannabis Council just joined us.
Yeah, rolling out of our seats.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, we had a great show.
Dirty Dan, goddamn Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan, dirty, goddamn Dirty Dan. Goddamn Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan, dirty, goddamn Dirty Dan. Goddamn Dirty Dan. There we go. See, that's my vision of the song I gotta have. See, Amanda was supposed to catch on and be my female key, female vocal in the background going, Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan. Goddamn Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan. Goddamn Dirty Dan, goddamn Dirty Dan.
Here's Michael Komorn with more Planet Green Trees.
All right, back. Thank you for staying with us. Show 500, Planet Green Trees special show 500. Jim, what's going on? Who do we have in the Zoom room? Get them all in here. Let's see what we got going on.
We've got Mr. Brad Forrester, Mr. Tim Beck, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Bash, Adam Brook himself.
Adam.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, all right.
Brash works.
Good to see
I might
you, Adam.
I might actually change it to that. I got called out today on social media for using the moniker Mr. Hash Bash, which I will add was given to me. I would never, ever, ever use. I would never, ever call myself that unless it was given to me. And
you are Mr. Hash Bash.
Definitely.
Whatever.
There's no doubt about it.
Whatever. The point is, I prefer brash. I kind of like
Brash.
that. That's
It rolls off the
that's a
tongue.
little sexier.
It
does.
is. It is, totally.
Nothing wrong with a little reinventing.
That's right.
Hey, you know, the wheel's already been invented, so what else could I reinvent?
That's right.
Yeah.
Adam's prolific blogger, video blogger in his own right. I know he conducts a
The old dab and stab.
dab and stab for people that are scrolling through their Facebook feed and want to stop for a minute and hang out with Adam. He's right there for you. It's actually quite.
Actually been pretty fun.
Yeah.
I've been
It's
hanging
like,
out.
it's like, what are you doing? I'm hanging out with Adam a little bit. We're just,
just
some good stuff.
hanging out with
Are there
a
tunes
coffee.
involved? Is there tunes involved?
Yeah,
Is he,
there's
okay?
tunes. He has different hats and stuff, and we're always just
I-
BSing in there.
I've jumped in a few times, and I've said I haven't, watched and liked and yes, but I see it's enjoyable. It's like this is how we're doing it now. This is the way, and it's entertaining.
I've been doing that show Dab and Stab for a couple of years now, 4 or 5 years, different platforms. It's, to my knowledge, the only blood glucose game show out there where we guess my morning blood glucose.
That's right.
And of course, there's marijuana involved, so that keeps us on the straight and narrow. Yeah, it's a real unique experience doing the volume of stuff I do.
Let me ask you, just out of curiosity, does the ingestion of cannabis impact your glucose measurements? In what way?
Yes. So the reason the show exists is because I was turned into a diabetic in prison, and the whole stabbing my finger, taking insulin, all of that reminds me of being in prison. So I found that if I got really high first, then it was all much easier, as everything in life is when you're really high. So I started doing this and then started going live with it. And sure enough, cannabis will lower your blood glucose levels. So if you smoked enough of it, you wouldn't need the insulin. However, I find that that's tough to do. If you've ever seen, we call it a whitey. If you've ever seen anybody smoking weed that turns, a sheet of white, and they feel like they got, hey, I need some fresh air, and they stand up, and we see this in Amsterdam all the time. As soon as they hit the fresh air, bam, they pass out. Well, that's because their blood sugar dropped. And that comes from not eating and smoking copious amounts of weed. Of course, when you're 6'4" and 300 pounds, you don't have to eat. You can still smoke copious amounts of weed, and you won't get a whitey. I'd love to have a whitey. To pass because you smoke too much weed, that's a blessing.
Really, I have to bring this subject up directly to Adam Brook. I'm diabetic also. I didn't know you were, okay? And it's an interesting, it was discovered like in 2017. And I didn't do anything in my mind, to cause it. It just hit. And, it's controlled by oral medication, this metformin and, glipizide. And I follow, I do pay attention to diet, although I never had a problem with diet. Too much because I never really was into sweets and all that. But the point is this cannabis thing. It's an idea. I've never changed the ways I've used cannabis. But bottom line, what I'm thinking, my A1C was up, fairly heavy, the last year, maybe year and a half. And part of it, I think, is stress. And this was what the doctor told me, over COVID, and all this goofball election stuff and this sort of thing, and personal issues that can do it too. You can do the perfect
Stress.
diet.
Stress definitely raises your blood glucose. I find that. I just went to one. You see these meters being advertised on TV now with the little thing. You know, we're all wearing the thing now. Well, the coolest thing about this is that I can take my blood glucose readings constantly. I can do it 10 times an hour, 10 times a minute. I reach into my pocket, I grab my little thing, I wave it on my arm. Oh, wow. Boom. I eat something, I can tell what it did to my body. I smoke a bunch of weed, I can see what it did to my body. So the technology has enabled us to kind of see what's going on a lot better. I mean, it tightens it up for us. So as a diabetic who doesn't really do the right thing all the time, I can tell you that knowledge is power. Because once you understand it and once you know it, it's correctable and fixable. And, you know, but I mean, the cool thing is that every day I go online at 9 o'clock in the morning and I see anywhere from 50 to 500 people sometimes over an hour, hour and a half. And it's all weed based. It's all about smoking weed. We talk a bunch of shit. We don't get, it's not like what you folks do here. You know, Michael, you tune into his show and you hear some knowledge. I mean, it's about the current events. It's about the who's who and the what's what. Yeah, we delve into that a little bit, but for us, it's a lot of fun. It allows me to be me, which I can't really be me here because I wouldn't want to offend anybody. So, you know,
well, first
it's a good time.
First of all, I mean, just the fact that this discussion, the conversation in Tim's interest, and you guys didn't know, I think that's fascinating. You know, and there's probably a whole other discussion about. You could have like a work group or like a group now that's just about that. People could be having these things and checking in, and you know, almost do like a group study online with cannabis. But that's the nice thing. All right, so listen, we had this question posed for you guys. I'm just curious. Don't feel obligated to ask, but we were trying to ask her name. If you've ever smoked cannabis before, or ingested cannabis, how old were you? And what do you remember about the experience? Adam or Tim?
I'll jump in. I'll jump in since nobody volunteered. I've been itching. I'm just ready. I tried to be polite, so not to interrupt. But no, seriously, it was I would say early October in 1970 in a dorm room at the University of Detroit, and I grew up in a very conservative area where you used to live there, Elisa. And around Toledo state line, very, very, very conservative place. And I heard stories about marijuana and on and on. And it was just like, but I wanted to try marijuana the more I heard this stuff, and so I got my opportunity. It was a guy, a really sophisticated guy from New Jersey, you know, and rumors spread around the dorm. Tommy, he's going to be smoking some weed tonight. Wow, you know, he's over in room 67. Okay, all right, I'll do it. I was right there. And yeah, it was really, really quite a memorable experience. I mean, Tommy was very mysterious. I rolled the joint, you know, and lit it up. A lot of us were amateurs, but I remember the effect that it had. Didn't have much of an effect, except time seemed to slow down a little bit. And the colors of the light, you know, in the room, and the paintings and the posters on the walls seemed to change. And I just went back. I said, okay, I just left, and I thought about, wow, you know, it's like, I got to get some more of this. And that was the story.
I mean, I know everyone's kind of not everyone here. Tim, thank you for your honesty and stuff. But, you know, not everybody gets a feeling of psychoactive or, you know, feeling the first time. You know what I mean?
Sometimes some don't ever get it.
You have to wake up that endocannabinoid system sometimes. Not everybody gets high the very first time.
That's true.
It seemed to happen with me. I mean, it wasn't really intense,
right?
Okay, but
sure,
you know, I did get an effect. There was an effect.
Let's get Adam in. Then we got Brett Forrester, who's trying to be Robinson from the Black Crows. He's always bringing that. Look, he's going on tour after this.
So
good.
I'll be honest, I have no clue. I was probably 17 and a half years old, is all I can tell you. But I was asked this question on a broadcast yesterday, and I felt bad because I hear this question asked a lot, and I don't really have a real answer. But I can tell you, when I realized my mom smoked weed, I was third grade. I saw something on top of the refrigerator. I wasn't sure what it was. I was thumbing, and it was sitting there. It sat there for a long time. I was thumbing through an encyclopedia one day in the H's, and I came across this thing, and it looked exactly like what was on top of the refrigerator, and it said it was a hookah pipe and that it could be used to smoke marijuana. And I was raised by a single woman, so I knew it wasn't mine, and I knew it wasn't my baby sister's. So that's third grade. I realized my mama was a pothead. And I avoided it until I was 17 and a half years old. And I left the high school that Michael Komorn graduated from.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you throw someone under the bus that you were with, or give me a location so I can kind of envision it. I know your stomping ground there. Tell me, was it...
Well, I never smoked weed at school. I would have been afraid to get caught. Mind you, I got caught doing all kinds of shit at that school. But my stepfather, at one point, owned a delicatessen in the mall right next door. Cy Ginsberg was that owned Pickle Barrel, was my stepfather. That's how I ended up in Southfield when my mother married him when I was in the 4th grade. So between the high school and this strip mall was a little wooded patch. And and it was like a path. And you had to jump a fence at the other end to get into the strip mall. And that's where the potheads would go hang out. Because when I started Southfield Lathrop High School, that year they painted a yellow line around the school so that you couldn't smoke a cigarette within 4 feet of the building. Because they, at that point, banned high schoolers from smoking cigarettes unless they were 18 years old or you had permission of your parents, which I thought was bizarre. So the kids that smoked weed, they went somewhere else because the cigarette smokers were all outside. And one day walking from school to the restaurant, I saw these people, and I know it happened there. I don't remember with who. I just know that was the first place.
That's exactly what I was looking for, because I have a memory of that exact place. I used to go to the New York Bagel over there. There was the there was like a Stroh's too, wasn't there in that mall? Like for a little while, and the Pickle Bear.
There was a Saunders ice cream.
Saunders ice cream. That's right. That's right.
And just to throw people under the bus, my last day of school, when I walked out of school, I walked down that path, and Alan Thompson pulled a pistol on me and told me to give me his wallet. And I told him to go fuck himself, and I walked away. And at that point in my life, I decided the next person that points a pistol at me was going to die. So I learned a lot in that alleyway there.
Yeah.
Represent Southfield. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They closed that school. It's a public school. It's a private one.
I know. My experience was similar. It was, but I don't remember any guns, but there was.
No.
But
I was also the athletic trainer at that high school, so I knew everybody. I knew all the athletes. I knew the kids that were superstars. I knew the kids that were losers. I was a well-known person in high school.
Listen,
and
you have to promise me that
I saw a lot of stuff.
You have to promise me to come back and we'll do like a high school podcast. Seriously, this has been this idea. We can talk about people. We can get them on the air from South Lathrop. You know, we can talk about who's cool and not cool, and then come and defend themselves. It'll be a lot of fun. I've had this idea for a long time, and I actually talked to Mike. I talked to Mike Young about it. You know Mike Young?
Mike, I know Mike real well.
Because he could be the guy to do it, because he was that character in high school. Anyways, don't steal my podcast idea.
Now, who you kidding?
I know. Don't steal my podcast idea.
Ready?
There you go. That's
who
right.
Who the fuck is Mike Young? Everybody, who the F is Mike Young? Go follow this podcast. Anyways, that's all I got.
I
appreciate being here, Michael. It's great to be on your 500th show. As you know, I've worked with Sinclair for years, and he's up to like 895 shows now. And I was there in the beginning with him. And to see you come on board and what you've become is really impressive. So shout out to you. And I'd love to do that later.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're talking more.
Even though I was a dropout, motherfuckers.
Sure. It's good stuff. You got stories. All right. What we got Brad. We got Brad. Brad Forrester, now you're a regular. And you're going to have to come back next week and tell us about your high school stuff. So thank you again, Brad. And I tried to make the point last time that with Brad. Let me just say, I know a few people said that Brad was one of the reasons they got into advocacy, and this really goes back to Tim Beck, who's also still here. I remember meeting him way back in the that Detroit structure.
Yeah, it was Greg Francisco, Hillary Delaney. This individual is Bradford Forrester.
That's right.
And a couple other guys, folks.
Sure.
Pi is last name, black guy, young, very charismatic black guy.
Mo.
Really
maybe.
Know how to give the pitch. But that's where we met, and I thought you were pretty smart. I thought this is a smart guy. Okay, that was my first impression of you. And you could talk turkey right away politically.
I was going to say there was an experience.
That's right. I remember that.
And I gave Brad a lot of credit. Brad and Greg Francisco, the vision of trying to create a platform for patients. There's, Tim, I think I've gotten the story from you. MPP came in. We're going to do it. We want no control, and they kind of left, and there was just a vacancy of kind of what to do. What's medical marijuana? What's a caregiver? And Greg and Brad had this vision, and they put it. And, the inception of it, they had the wherewithal to kind of lay out some kind of format that it never. I don't think it ever really. I think it had like a utopian feel to it. And unfortunately, I could pick 9 or 10 reasons.
A lot of kudos should go to Greg Francisco.
Yes, and Brad.
He filled that vacuum. There was a vacuum in leadership. It was like MPP, and this was it. Or you get a boot in your ass, or you're sued, or some shit like that. And they were really rough players. And then finally, when they got out, it was Greg Francisco.
Yeah, but Brad,
real hardcore activist.
But Brad was.
We got to get to Brad's answer to the question.
All right, hold on. But I want to say Brad put up with Greg that whole time. He gets a lot of credit. Come on, he just kidding. Brad, please welcome. Thank you. Speak. You're like you're silent. I don't like that. Oh, say something. Is that a fake picture of him? Just kidding.
Yeah, I apologize for being so silent, Michael. Got around to processing some of the fall harvest, and I ended up making about a half a pound of bubble hash.
Ooh,
so
nice.
For the past few days, I've been touring the living room and kitchen, man, and that's about as far as the Brad Forrester tour has been.
You look so calm, and I feel bad I even disturbed you. You look like so, I thought that.
How dare you?
Very calm, and all right, so answer the question, and I'll let you go back to your state
and then
of.
We got to go to a break.
Right, I don't want to disturb that. You just sit there and relax, and let it generate to all of us, and we'll get the calm from you. But go ahead. What was your first, if it ever happened, did you ever encounter cannabis? What age, and was it a pleasant experience? Did you get psychoactive?
Yeah. My very first time, it was totally unexpected. I was 13 years old. And I wanted to go Christmas shopping, and my cousin, an older cousin, and his girlfriend were going to go, and they called me, asked if I would like to ride along, and I said, heck yeah. Not even thinking, of what the possible consequences were. But we drove to the mall. It was probably, 10 miles or something. And in that 10 miles, they smoked 3 fucking joints. In the car, the windows rolled up, and I had never smoked before. So, I got pretty rocked. I enjoyed it, though. I mean, it was, I wasn't hallucinating or anything, but, we ate at the mall, and I was damn happy about that.
You did.
Yeah, so, but, after that, I think it was probably a couple years after that when I kind of smoked. My crew, my circle of friends started smoking, and, I was not shy about it at all. I had experienced it earlier, and, I liked it. So when one of my buddies came around with the bag, fucking hey, let's go. So
if we were to make some statistics out of many of these events of people smoking first time were directly related to Jamie Lowell, I want to point out. Some of them were in cars and driving as if that was not a thing, and it's important because I think there's a lot of hype unnecessarily in that regard.
There is.
And
there is.
But all right, so Jim has got let's take a quick break. I know there's some other people in the Zoom room. Jim, is that right? We got some people lined up.
We got to start cycling.
So let's. Jim is calling the shots in that regard. First of all, thank you guys for being here. I can't say you guys have been pivotal in my life and activity and cannabis reform. You've all impacted me in some way. I appreciate you participating, putting up with me. Love you guys. Be safe, and we'll get you on some other times, and looking forward to talking to you as the years go on here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll be right back.
We'll be go ahead.
The Planet Green Trees Show.
Join the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org. The MMMA is focused on the well-being and safety of medical marijuana patients. The MMMA site provides the most comprehensive and up-to-date news on legal issues, politics, research, cultivation, as well as the various strains, products, and methods of cannabis use. Come join the discussion with the most knowledgeable and passionate advocates in Michigan today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org.
Just wanted to give a shout out to Michael Komoran and Planet Green Trees. 500 episodes. 500 episodes. I've been on a few. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the effort. I tune in on Thursdays. Do you? Michael Komoran, you got a hell of a show, my friend. 500 episodes. That's a lot of work. Good work. We enjoy it. Way to go.
Michael, congratulations on your 500th episode, Planet Green Trees. the original podfather of Michigan marijuana. Thank you for all your contributions over the years. Criminal justice reform, FOIAs, always being there fighting. Michigan wouldn't be the same without you. And let's do another 500. Congrats, guys.
Happy 500th show, Planet Green Trees. I'm so excited for you guys. I really wanted to be there tonight or call in, but I am bud tending at Sticky Detroit today. You're going to start to see Sticky around quite a bit, so keep an eye out. But thank you guys so much. It's from actions from you guys that allow me to provide safe access to medication for patients. So thank you so much again. Michael, I really appreciate you. Amanda, you're one of the first people that introduced me to this industry. Thank you so much again. Cheers, guys. Thanks again. Happy 500th.
Congratulations, Michael, Planet Green Trees, on your 500th show. The show is amazing, informative, and I know you've had a lot of help, Michael, with others like Jamie Lowell and Rick Thompson. Congratulations to all of you guys, and I hope that the show just keeps getting bigger and bigger. All right, take care. Smoke one up.
Bill Schuette led the charge against medical marijuana, and even after the will of the voters was decided and the support was enormous, he still continued to fight against the will of the voters, keeping patients from the medicine that they need. So I think it's important that we all speak up on what we think about this initiative. But when the voters have their say, their will must stand.
Here's Michael Komorn with more Planet Green Trees.
DEA administrator.
And we're live.
Which is ultimately
Shyler,
we're back.
We're live.
No, it's fine. He's making his point. It's fine. It's fine. By the way, I was yelled at in the break because there's not enough time and too many people, so I can't talk or ask any questions anymore. I'm just going to say you guys are allowed to talk. Take your time. Jim's in charge. I expect this. Jim, tell him how everyone introduce everyone. Let's go. Come on.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
Seriously,
we just have a lot of people that
then
would
name
like
them
to
and start
say-
spending time. Let's go. Come on, get them up in there. We
Well,
got
we've
from our
got-
list. I feel bad. I don't want to wait.
No, Chad Morrow has joined
Chad
us.
is excellent.
Shyler Engle.
Chad's a regular. Shyler's
Michael Thue.
Michael Thue is
John Schlickler
first time
and
repeated.
Eric Gunnels.
And I believe Robin as well.
Tracy. Tracy. Tracy's here. Thank you,
Okay.
Tracy. Excellent.
Hi.
All right, so listen, I welcome everybody. I know all of you from different versions of my travels, and I appreciate that for whatever that was. We're asking questions. First of all, thank you for being here, and being involved with the PGT over the years and participating and showing up tonight. It means you're my friend, and I appreciate that. The question that I posed out there is that if you've ever ingested cannabis, when was it? How old were you? And was it a good experience? And did you receive a psychoactive effect of some kind? You're come over here. We got to get you under too because you're not getting any attention. So let's start with Eric Gunnels because he's a public official and should have no problems. As we know in the video clip that he had, it's his free speech right to say what he wants to, and if he's going to be in favor of cannabis and coffee,
That's a very good comment.
they're not going to stop him. They're not going to stop him.
No.
Eric Gunnels is here. Eric, how you doing?
Hey, good, Michael. It's glad to be on the show. And yeah, for those of those, Michael, we were in the trenches together. What else is there to say?
We've had right? We've had that was like
of the drug war.
That's right.
I mean, that was something, Michael. And and for those that don't know, I've been to countless of Michael's cases, and I've seen him in action. And just to see how we've been brutalized over the last 10 years is just beyond unfathomable sometimes. But yeah, it's good to be back on the show, Michael, and you're one of my biggest heroes.
By the way, so people that come to Mine Art Travel, I'm just taking 10 seconds. There's a Brian Conchu who was a prosecutor that was the kind of, is that his name? Conchu, right?
Yeah.
So he was like real interested, and he had place off of, was it 75? And he had his TV show and stuff. He's like, I think he lost his license. He became a judge. He's no longer. I just point that out because he was. I don't know what happened. I'm not associated with any of those things, but that was kind of the initiated situation. And you were also. I remember you being at. There's a lot more, but the Michael Kupel trial in Shiawassee. I remember you being there for that, and they were good friends of yours, and that's wild. But. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you being there. You've always been. It's good to turn around and see a supportive face there, and all the the accused always appreciate the community support. I can tell you that for sure. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But it was a great experience the last 12 years of activism. I mean, traveling the state, doing all kinds of things, and then to turn that into an elected official position as a township trustee, it's definitely been one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I'm glad I did it. As far as smoking marijuana for the first time, if I'm to throw somebody under the bus, it'd be my friends from church. And I come from a very conservative Christian background, and from there it was just marijuana was honestly my first experience was a very spiritual one. It was a very I remember just telling my friends, I said, something's not right here. This is, society got this wrong somehow. This is not a drug. This is a medicine. This is a good thing. And this was when I was 17 years old. That would have been like 1997.
Interesting. So it was part of the religious experience. They call it Cannabis, like the quoting from the Old Testament,
he was with the church
and
kids smoking weed.
it was not a church endorsed event, is what you're saying? Okay, I was just wondering. No, I understand.
I'm just saying it was such an enlightening experience, and from there I knew that this was wrong, and that society was looking at it wrong, and somehow this needed to change, and then everything from there kind of fell in place. That's why I met Tim Beck in the early days of his activism, trying to change the laws, and he probably doesn't remember meeting me. I was just some kid on the sidelines, but yeah. And then I met the rest of you, and then kind of the rest is history.
You're still kind of a kid, though, I think. I can still say. All right, let's move around the room here. We got Michael Thue. How are you, by the way? All the way from way up where we're Grand Traverse, and recently UP stomping around and stuff. But glad to see him. Michael, of course, is a master hemp grower. That means that he is involved with the Cannabis sativa L plant that is legal THC. All the stuff we've been dealing with, the marijuana, blah, blah, it's the illegal THC Cannabis sativa. Makes no sense. And, of course, when you're telling the biggest lie that ever's been told, these kind of things are going to happen. But Michael Thue is here with us, hemp grower and cannabis activist extraordinary. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you guys very much for having me on with you guys tonight.
So we're asking questions.
Michael.
The question is, if you want to indulge, I don't know, it maybe, a lot of it depends what jurisdiction you're in, but nothing's really been disclosed yet. When was the first time you ingested cannabis? Was it a pleasant experience? Did you feel peer pressured? Did you get a psychoactive effect?
So, for me, at a young age, I was already on Flexerol and Altrans for some medical problems with my back at a young age. So my first time with cannabis was 15, and a couple friends introduced it to me in the woods behind the houses. And my dad was a preacher, so I was raised in the church. So very conservative background. It was my first experience with cannabis, and to me, it was very helpful. They wanted to put me on Ritalin for ADHD and different, the meds that I was on for my back. And I realized then at a young age that I didn't need any of those pharmaceuticals if I had the plant. So I went around quoting scripture to my dad and ended up quoting scripture in front of many judges as I got kicked out of high school for weed. I got kicked out of a Christian college for smoking cannabis. So it's been a heck of a journey, and that's why I've been a big part of the, the activism community in Northern Michigan, doing what I can to lead the way and help show that this is a viable option for other people.
Do you mind if I disclose what we were doing earlier this morning, even though it was weird and awkward in its
complete disclosure? We're open, Michael.
There's a heroic move, and at some point in time we'll be able to declare so with an opinion from the Court of Appeals. But Michael was involved with a matter out of Grand Traverse, whereby they have a policy regarding medical cannabis use or cannabis use of any time that had been written. I know we were there in 2016, 17, 18, I don't know, whatever it is, but it's from 2009 or 10. The former circuit court judge who had retired said, it was a written policy that said, we're not going to let people smoke pot. They come in here and they smell like weed, and it's like having a drunk sitting in waiting to go to their probation to test for alcohol. We're not doing it. And so this is from 2010, 20 things that happened in the law since then. So no one's doing anything. It is the way. And people come up, they ask, and the judge says, no, there's a policy in circuit court.
It's a policy,
We're in district anyway. So the short answer is that we challenged it. It was really, it was so, I don't know, it was almost embarrassing. Not only that, put aside the marijuana issue, they're saying we do this in all cases, every time. So that's problematic with just the sentencing in general. Yeah. It has to be tailored towards the individual to ban and do some things and all.
It's like when your parents would say, "Because I said so."
Yeah, but there's a rule that
I
says
say that
some
all the
things,
time, by the way. So
that's
I'm,
fine.
I do
That's
say
good,
that
but
a
that's
lot.
parenting. Okay? This is not. Listen. The point is that the type of sentence has to be associated with the individual to deter them.
Or else we don't need the judge.
Right, there you go. So anyway, we got denied this this is nonsense. And then we appealed to the circuit court, more nonsense, and then we went to the Court of Appeals, and they don't have to take this case. This is some guy that's on probation down at Grand Traverse, and
he has no
if
rights.
they wanted to leave it alone, they can leave it alone. Let him suffer down there.
Yeah.
But they took the case, and their briefs were there today, and so we're going to issue an opinion. Case was submitted, we shall say. But the other side didn't show up, and they didn't file a brief because I don't think they. Let me be honest. My arguments in writing were so powerful that they couldn't even lift a pen and respond. That's what it was. But but the point is that Michael wanted to do this to make a difference in Grand Traverse. That's the point I wanted to make. Very heroic. He didn't have to do this. In fact, allegedly, he was testing positive for carboxy THC, but he has a script for Marinol, so that was our explanation. But it didn't matter. There's no immediate harm to him. But he still wanted to make sure that we end that nonsense. What year is it? 2021? Can you ever believe that we would be discussing this? But unless something like this happens, unless somebody cares, this is like the Lorax. Unless somebody cares,
an awful lot.
An awful lot. Nothing's going to change. So I just throw it out there to Michael too. Tonight's the Lorax winner. Okay, we'll get that award out today. The Lorax. Nobody understands. It's an important quote, Jim. Make sure
it is an important quote.
Right.
And
We'll
it's
come
a
back.
good movie. Remember Danny DeVito as the Lorax? Wasn't he fun?
No, maybe that could be. He looks like a nightmare. All right, so let's move around the room. We want to keep the momentum here. We'll go to John Schlickler. John Schlickler may have smoked cannabis before. First of all, John Schlickler, the Cannabis World Tour, Cannapalooza. What an event! What is going on? That damn.
Hello, Michael. Come on, I love you, brother.
Oh boy!
Congratulations on your 500th show.
Thank you, John.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I got to tell you, I'm most mad at COVID because of this cancel of Cannapalooza this year. What a disappointment, and fuck COVID. But we're gonna hopefully wrap that up.
Fuck COVID, that's right.
We're gonna get
COVID,
back.
Fuck Bill Shooty.
Fuck Bill Shooty.
I'm kidding, but all right. So listen. So how are things up there in your part of the woods, and you guys hanging in there? And tell us about your first cannabis experience, if that is a thing. I don't know. Maybe you never have been just a cannabis before. Just kidding.
When was the first time you smoked some weed?
Hi, Tim.
Your first cannabis experience. They want to hear.
Oh, my first cannabis experience. Late junior high, probably. So I was, maybe 13. After football practice, and then staying Friday night for the high school varsity game.
Very cool.
Interesting. I mean, I wonder about that because there was always that hype that athletes didn't smoke cannabis or smoke marijuana, right? Or did they? I don't know. Whatever that. These are interesting. No, I know. I'm saying too that would be. Some people would say, I don't know. It was maybe never a reality, but it's interesting from where the source of it came from. I'm saying I was playing football and maybe my teammates. But what else? So how about? I'm not saying that. All right. We'll go to hold tight, John. We're going to go over to Chad Morrow, who's going to enlighten us on his travels and cannabis euphoria.
Yeah, welcome. I'm having a real hard time hearing you, Michael. It's not just because I'm real hot, because you're. It's just hard for me to hear you. My first experience, though, was I didn't really get a whole lot from it. So I had to, go back and try it again.
You had to try and try again till you got it right?
We might be able to fix it.
I had to try it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Before I got a buzz, and then Yeah, that was great. And it wasn't near the evil stuff that I had been
told.
Kind of indoctrinated, if you will, through church and just growing up with a strict family that was against it. But I soon learned that there was nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's go to, we've got Ched Morrow with us. He's also a regular now, second week in a row. We'll have him come back next week. Please, Ched, tell us about your CBD store where one can get the most sexy new product on the market, which is the Delta 8. Sounds interesting, right? Delta 8. What? Yeah, all kinds of vape stuff called Ched. He's the hookup on the Delta 8. We still have not made our trip down there.
Slinging the
This is our
Delta
next
8.
thing. Anyways, welcome, Ched, again, and tell us what's been happening and share with us if you've ever ingested that cannabis sativa L with greater than 3%, 0.3% THC in it. When and how old you were and what kind of experience was it? That's a good question.
Well, again, thanks for having me on again, and congratulations on the 500th show. It's quite the milestone. As far as cannabis use, it's kind of funny. It's like I've heard my own story all kind of plugged together here by listening to everybody else. I don't really remember the first time, honestly. I know that the first several times was around the age of about 14, 15. And I didn't understand the point of it. I didn't get a buzz off it. I do remember that it was the old Mexican brick weed that you had to peel apart. Everything was flat and brown, and there was seeds and stems, so that could have been a big part of it. But the one thing that I do really remember that sticks out in my mind was, when I was 16, again, coming from a really strict Christian Catholic background, I had to go to church every Sunday or I'd be grounded all week. So my parents went at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I convinced them that, I want to go by myself because I didn't want to go that early, and I have a driver's license. So I started going to church on my own at 11:30 Mass every Sunday, and then a buddy of mine would meet me there because he was doing the same thing. And we ended up, just kind of going down to the church basement and out the side back door, so nobody would really, people would see us in church, so our parents would think we were there. But we'd leave after 4 minutes. And my buddy, though, he stole weed from his dad. And that was the first time I ever saw real good weed. And that was the first time weed ever affected me. And like Michael was saying, I was someone whose the doctors were, Zoloft, Prozac, Ritalin, Wellbutrin. And once I found good marijuana, I too knew I didn't need those prescription pills.
Wow. Awesome. Do we hit everybody who's staying with us there? Shyler?
Shyler, and then I believe we've got...
Shyler can either, if he doesn't want to make any admissions,
Shyler needs...
He can recite the Federalist Oath if he wants.
I was sold oregano, when I was like 13 at some basement in Sterling Heights, and I'm pretty sure that oregano really screwed me up. I mean, I was acting all sorts of goofy. But that's about it.
Since then, the city's been trying to write an ordinance to get into that basement.
Yeah,
they just wrote one, didn't they?
Look at me now.
Right. No,
They gotta make that oregano illegal.
$5 gram.
But Sterling Heights just wrote the ban on like basement marijuana growing and
200 square feet. If you exceed that, you're in violation, and then you have to go talk to me.
Who is going to be the lawyer that's going to take that one? As there's got to be a lawyer down every city that's going to take that one. Who's it going to be? Is that going to be you? If you're here, you go. If you have standing, call Shyler Engle. If you think you have standing, call Shyler Engle. He will make sure that he finds some subject matter jurisdiction for you, right, Shyler?
I'll at least negotiate 300 square feet.
There you have it. There you have it.
Michael, if I don't get another chance to talk again, because there's so many people here, I've been here for 200 shows, but I know that you've been right on everything since your first one 500 ago.
Yeah.
And I just hope that there are not 500 more of these.
What's that supposed to mean?
Everyone feels the same.
There's like a sunset clause you think we should have in here? Like,
if there's another 500 of these, like, I mean, there's not much hope left for people to understand that there's no point in having 500 more of these.
Hold on. We could reinvent ourselves. It could be something that, like, we will meet every week and evaluate the writings of Shyler Engle's poetry. That could be a thing that happens. Or, the world may change that we'll be doing something else, and you'll have your Federalist opinion then too. I don't know. It's that is an interesting point because after legalization, the topics and the ranting and the, F this one and F that one changed a little bit. They were expected to be changed. It forced us to discuss. I think at times we discussed politics, which was dangerous and divisive. And it was interesting because, in the cannabis battle, there's so much unity over that. The second you step into some other of these political issues, it's almost weird. Like, you think just because everyone agrees about cannabis, they're going to agree about everything else. But that is not always the case. And I think that's kind of been one of the things that is, it's been a challenge, coming with other topics. I mean, there's still this whole new development of the cannabis world after alleged prohibition ending. But, there's still a lot of worthy news, I think, in topics and criminal justice reform. And, I like criticizing it all and having people that are experts like my group here to come in and opine and ask to be disabused. I mean, that's what this is all about. That's the enjoyment of this community, I think, at the end of the day.
Nick's
Let
gonna
me
be playing
throw
I
out
wish you the best.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah.
Let Tim say it. Quick, let Tim in.
I'm sorry. Come on.
Tim, please, go ahead.
Yeah, let me throw out a theory here. People watching this now, all of us here, we have a kind of moral authority. Okay, going back, quite a ways, and I would say, some of you folks, you can, Michael, you know all the characters, and you can go through it, and crazy, Shooty, Rick Jones, Mike Colton, Randy Richardville, Scott Greenlee, all these characters
Lieutenant
out
Bailey.
there.
Don Bailey.
Don Bailey. Oh my God! Thank you. He's on the role of, he said a special. Yeah, but we were right. We were right from the beginning. And the funny darn thing about it, nothing. They were predicted. This hysteria, this rage, this fear, this anger, addiction, and kids are going to die, and insanity, and on and on and on. Just a total crock, and none of it happened. Absolutely none of it happened. We were saying that years ago. So in a way, I think we just got to kind of maybe stick around in the sense that, marijuana, there's people who don't like it out there still. Not many of them are getting used to it, at least around here. But, thinking back, we have a moral authority because we were right from day one, way before that tide turned.
You're right. And it's not just a bunch of people that are in a garage in Detroit that are meeting and, agreeing with each other. Statewide, in overwhelming, voting in election years, agreed. So it's not even like, listen to me. It's like it happened, and we were right. And this is over. Jessica Cooper, Bouchard. Just the names of the antagonists out there. Gary Parks comes to mind. He's still kicking, if you can believe that one.
Sure.
For those lovers of Lapeer County, the old I don't know what, Jamie. What was the name of? I don't know. Lapeer was Bob Redden. Those days.
Here, yeah.
We got.
If I can just jump in real quick too. Another reason to talk about why we're needed to continue talking is. You look at some of the social media comments on the articles talking about Michael Thompson right now, and there's a lot of people that, are still negative to that, and you have to explain to them, like cannabis should have never been illegal. If it wasn't ever illegal, he would have never been in these situations in the first place. And the man is, in my opinion, and I think everybody on this show's opinion, getting everything now that he's rightfully deserved.
That's right. And that's a good good note to leave the segment
Michael,
on. We've got to
when you first smoked marijuana?
we've got
Yeah, Mike, what's up with that?
We've got to go to a break.
Take a break, we'll
We've
come
had
right
Nick waiting in the wings to perform here for quite a while.
We have live music. We must take a break. Nick,
So we're gonna just take a quick 1 to 2 minute break, and then we're gonna cue Nick up, and Nick's coming online and is gonna do a performance for us, and then we're gonna move to the next group. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in.
Michael, you can take the Fifth Amendment too.
The Planet Green Trees Show.
Join the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org. The MMMA is focused on the well-being and safety of medical marijuana patients. The MMMA site provides the most comprehensive and up-to-date news on legal issues, politics, research, cultivation, as well as the various strange products and methods of cannabis use. Come join the discussion with the most knowledgeable and passionate advocates in Michigan today. MichiganMedicalMarijuana.org.
Happy 500th show, Planet Green Trees. I'm so excited for you guys. I really wanted to be there tonight or call in, but I am bud tending at Sticky Detroit today. You're going to start to see Sticky around quite a bit, so keep an eye out. But thank you guys so much. It's from actions from you guys that allow me to provide safe access to medication for patients. So thank you so much again. Michael, I really appreciate you. Amanda, you're one of the first people that introduced me to this industry. Thank you so much again. Cheers, guys. Thanks again. Happy 500th.
Congratulations, Michael, Planet Green Trees, on your 500th show. The show is amazing, informative, and I know you've had a lot of help, Michael, with others like Jamie Lowell and Rick Thompson. Congratulations to all of you guys, and I hope that the show just keeps getting bigger and bigger. All right, take care. Smoke one up.
It's Amanda with the Amanda Report, sponsored by Komorn Law and aired on Planet Green Trees. We are in Depot Town in beautiful Ypsilanti, and we're here at the Depot Town Care Center, and we're about to go inside and see what they have to offer. Are you ready to be awe-inspired? Let's go. Thanks for having us here, first and foremost, but tell us a little bit about the Depot Town Care Center.
So we've been here since 2011. We received our medical license in 2018, and we just recently received our recreational license. So we have lots of restaurants. We have Aubrey's, Sidetrack, Maze, the Wax Bar, and we're also right near Riverside Park and Frog Island Park.
So during this debacle and this pandemic, Sam, what kinds of things does Depot Town Care Center do to keep patients safe?
So we have extensive cleaning procedures in between each patient and customer. We have a thermometer that takes your temperature before you even walk in the door. Everyone's required to wear a mask for entry, and our bud tenders wear gloves, masks, and sanitize to keep everyone safe. If you don't feel comfortable coming in to make your purchase, you can always make a purchase online or over the phone, and we do curbside pickup.
So I see you've got a couple of products out here to show us. Can you explain some of these things?
Yes, first we have the Mary's Medicinals Topical. It's a 1-to-1. It has 300 milligrams of CBD, 300 milligrams of THC. This one is really awesome because it actually goes 10 derma layers deep. So it actually goes straight to the joint, straight into the muscle. So it's fast acting and it's very, very efficient. Next, here's the Garlic Cookies Flower, which is an indica dominant. This one is testing at roughly 28% THC. This is definitely a top seller. Next, we also have the Wana Gummies, which is a really hot seller. They're available in hybrid, sativa, and 1-to-1. They come in 10 milligram pieces. Very
tasty.
Yes.
Good.
To more Planet Green Trees.
All right, we're back, episode 500. We're rocking it. We have all of our guests here. Earl Carruthers, who is a dear friend and family, and a recognizable figure in the time stamping of the insanity of the Michigan medical marijuana evolution and recreational. Earl, come on, lean on in here. You got him? Is he on? Okay.
He's in.
All right, go back.
He's in the clip.
So,
hopefully MDHHS doesn't come after you for that one.
We've got Nick Zettell in the crew. But Earl, let's get Earl's answer real quick, and then he can hang out for the music and get in the next clip. All right, hold it. We'll go to Nick.
Right.
We'll go to Nick.
We got to go to Nick.
We'll come back on. Nick, you're on at Jim's announcement.
Yes, and we.
Sorry, I don't mean to get antsy, guys.
No, it's not. It's okay. We're running behind. I know it's difficult to believe that around here we're running behind.
4x4 measures will be fine. You don't have to move it up faster. It's fine. We'll be fine. Go ahead.
We're really pleased to have you, Nick Zettell. Everyone knows Nick, and he's agreed to do a performance for us.
And congrats, Michael, for the 50th show, or 500th. Holy shit! I was at the 420th, and that was pretty rad and really a cool event to be there in person at I think it was maybe Grow Green or wherever we were. It was a lot of fun, but appreciate you having me on here as well. So can everyone hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Cool. Play a quick song then. fitting for today and all the conversations about our first time smoking cannabis and a lot of the first experiences we had. It was in a lot of ways written in response to a particular person who didn't seem to approve or understand my cannabis use. I think we've all been there with either a loved one or a family member. Let me go, my honey. Let me go, my babe. Let me go running up and down the state. Let me go, my sweetheart. Let me play in the rain. Let me be different. Let me stay the same. I was walking down the road, man. Piece of paper in my hand, man. About to buy all I can stand before I gotta sit down. The river was rolling. My veins were a-bulging. It's nothing like scoring on a dark, cold, cloudy day. I'm heading down a hill now. I fear I'm about to top out. I've been shooting my brains out, getting high in the name of the greater good. I know that you don't get that. I'ma need you to just sit back. Maybe change your mind and hit that. You'll have nothing left to say and no more shade to throw my way. So let me go, my honey. Let me go, my babe. Let me go running up and down the state. Let me go, my sweetheart. Let me play in the rain. Let me have my freedom. Let me have my pain. If I get cold feet and dark, don't you blame it on my warm heart. Our loving got a cold start and it's barely reached room temperature. I'm on that road again, this time with a gas can, lit reefer in my left hand. I'll be gone before too long, so let me get the facts straight and let me set the stage. I'm getting to the point now, I'm getting to that age where it doesn't really matter what I think I do or I say. It might have misheard that, so let me rephrase. Let me go, my honey. Let me go, my babe. Let me go running up and down the state. Let me go, my sweetheart. Let me play in the rain. Let me be different. Let me stay the same. And I'm sorry, there's something you want that I don't have. All I've ever called my own, I have given to you half. I ain't mad and I ain't sad, but I'm ready to part ways. All I've ever asked from life is only what I've saved, just to let you know I'm gone and going away. You won't find me. The sun is down and the moon shines on all that I can see. Hunting, a pellet rifle in my paws. I'm about to bag me old wildcat with saber-tooth jaws. I'm down to my last bet. Let me go for broke. Let me set a death trap for her and me both. I'm a getting hungry with that kitty on my mind. About to sneak up on her
catch it from behind. Yeah, I'm down to my last shot. It's really all that I've got. It's really all that I need. It's me and my favorite weed. Let me go, my honey. Let me go, my babe. Let me go running up and down the state. Let me go, my sweetheart. Let me play in the rain. Let me be different. Let me stay the same. Let me have my freedoms. Let me have my pains. Let me be different. Let me stay the same. Let me go, my honey. Let me go, my babe. Let me go running up and down the state.
Wow, that was awesome, Nick Zettell. You know, that was really awesome, and I'm upset because we don't get to play music like we like, and we used to be in the other platform we could play music on the radio. But I remember at the 420 show you performed outstanding. You did like a 15 million Dylan song, if I recall. I was watching the other day. And that was awesome. I don't know.
That made me think of Dylan, too. It really was a Dylan style. I mean, I don't want to...
A little bit better vocals.
Yeah, but it got you thinking. It was like poetry and music.
Compliment.
Did you write that? Is it an original score?
That's an original, yeah.
That was okay. I felt like it had some, I don't want to, you know, some experience we all kind of had, you know, related to our...
Yeah, I had some help, you know.
Yeah.
Little cannabis never hurts.
Sure, of course. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Can we just let him play the rest? Do we have to do the other people? No, I'm kidding. But, all right, explain to us now, because I know you're from the west side of the state, and I'm sure growing up cannabis was accepted and encouraged. What was your first experience with cannabis? And we got to move on because we got other people. Jim, can he play more later? Or
You can stay on, and Neil Rockind is with us now too.
All right.
So.
Give us your answer. We're going to Neil, the killer. That was good.
Yeah, I kind of had a couple first experiences, but one of them was I was a little bit of a troublemaker, so I was on probation at the age of 13 for stealing alcohol from a grocery store. Stole a bottle of wine, and sometime while I was on probation, I decided to smoke some weed with a friend, and I don't know if it really got me high, but we ended up in a backyard, just laying on the grass under the sun, and I just fell asleep for 2 hours. Then shortly thereafter, I skipped out of school early with my older brother. We went and smoked a bowl down by Bear Lake in Muskegon, Michigan, and I remember coming home and I couldn't untie my shoes, and I thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the world, and it was. It was. And
that was it. That's right. It's a good story. So hang out, if you will. Maybe we'll get you played on the song. But I want to, first of all, we got my dear friend and colleague, brother in arms,
cool.
Neil Rockind.
For having me.
For sure. Stay, but hang around if you can. Neil Rockind is joining us. Neil Rockind, the Rockweiler. I like to call him Killer. Neil, welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining us tonight.
He's on mute. Muted.
You gotta unmute him.
Justin.
Just hold on. Can't hear you. We gotta unmute him. Hold on. Come on.
Justin.
There you go. Is that better?
You cannot mute Neil. He's unmutable. He's unmutable. He is. I can still hear him.
That's right. So anyway, happy 500th episode. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you,
Good job. It's an unbelievable milestone, man. There are a lot of people that can't say they've done anything 500 times. So, for you to do this, it's pretty amazing. So I actually thought at one point, I don't want to take a lot of your show, but I was going to bring out, Mike will appreciate this, so it's not here. I had it. I was going to bring out two props for Mike. One was a big binder. Because Mike knows that whenever we've had cases together and we've been in some battles together, there's always the binder of love that we have, which is these huge binders full of, reports
stuff,
and
right.
outlines and every time we feel like we're on the verge of dying in court, one of us gets up there with the thud of a huge binder and flip open, and you can almost see the look of the police as they think, oh shit, there's like a whole series of stuff that's about to come our way. And the second is Mike's backpack. I'm going to bring a backpack in here because the true story is Mike was the first dude that I ever saw really in court with a backpack. Everybody else used to walk around with these fancy briefcases and hold them awkwardly like this, put them on a table and open them up. And it was always something, right? You guys are laughing because, you know, there's always these briefcases were always something that you got from like an aunt or a grandma or a wife or a, you know, a bar mitzvah, wedding, graduation gift, and always couldn't carry a big file. Any real lawyer never had, you know, you can't fit like a real true case in a briefcase. So the first case I ever had with Komorn, I knew this dude. I mean, I'd seen him around. I knew he played basketball, and he was always around for years with like the guys from, you know, from Frank Murphy and everything. All of a sudden one day we have this case together, and, you know, everybody's walking in with their fancy backpacks, and guys have like the satchel and, you know, the new man bag, the mail carrier bag. Mike's walking in, and he's got like, you know, the thing is like fully slung over his shoulders. It's like a full mountain gear backpack. Thing is stuffed to the gills. Nobody to this day knows what's actually in that backpack, right? No one really knows what's in the backpack. It's probably some vegan snacks in there, right?
You're right. You got to pack
rumors about. There's always been rumors that there was some weed in there, but never proven, never actually corroborated by any deputy at any courthouse.
That's really funny.
But the backpack. So then one day I started carrying a backpack around. I thought it was honestly, the greatest thing is just carrying a backpack into court. You can fit everything. You can dump all your shit in there. Slide it all in there and get the fuck out of there.
Hands free all day long, you know?
First guy I ever saw. Okay, one more thing. I got one more story. So I'd never been in a car with Mike, and this is not an X-rated story. So I'm sitting there, and we have to drive a long drive together. And he usually has like Dewey drive with him. But this day, I'm driving with Mike, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I look over, and the guy's got his fucking pants pulled all the way up.
I do that. I don't know why.
Anybody ever seen him drive like this? He's got his pants pulled all the way up like this. That's how he drives. He's got his pants pulled up to his knees.
It's a lot of heat coming out of there. I don't know what's going on. I do that sometimes. I don't know why.
Listen, it's your 500th episode. You can handle a small amount of roasting.
Of course, I love it. Come on.
A friend who's been in the trenches with you, right?
Of course, I love it. I want more. That's good stuff. Listen, we had a couple of great. Looking back at some of the shows, there's a number of there's sometimes when there was like that moment when case came out, it was bad. I remember there's a great like kind of battle off between or interpretation of law with. I think it was Matt and Tom Levine. If it was like after it was after like McQueen, like what McQueen meant, and what we wanted it to mean and what it didn't mean, and giving legal advice versus keeping hope that there was still. I don't know. It was just. But I say the show has had that. I've always liked that. I like that most about the show, the legal side, and some of the discussions and.
These guys used to charge like 15 people, and they thought that they were really like getting one, and never realized that it was just. I hated the fact that there were people that were in the heart of these cases, but it really gave. We lawyers tend to be mavericks and kind of operate on our own typically. It's one of the cool things about some of the bulletin boards that we lawyers are a part of, because it makes it more communal. But working on some cases together, there were always moments where. One of us, Mike or I or Newberg or whomever was in, the crew, Rudoi, we're always in there and we're up at the podium, and you turn around and everybody else is doing this, like.
Right.
And you just felt like that sense of, go get them, because you had some guys have your back in there. So I just wanted to jump on. You got a lot of guests. I have love you, as you know,
And listen to Neil's got.
And contrary to what Shyler said, I hope you have another fucking 500 episodes. Yeah. So I know that he was trying to be like, say that the, reform and legalization at some point has got to kick in enough that you don't need your show. But the fact is that Look, you talk a lot. You talk about a lot of stuff more than just about marijuana, and so I hope you got 500 more. You know what I mean? So or 1,000 more. I hope you're doing this. That's 500 episodes. That means out of if 52 weeks a year, if you did one episode a week, that's almost 10 years. That is extraordinary when you actually break it down. It's just 2 hours an episode. That is, you know, I mean, think about the number of hours you spent talking to people about this. So, you know, kudos to you, man. 500 and
appreciate that.
You know,
that's awesome.
And check out Neil is doing his own podcasting. He's got a very interesting angle on things, as you may you could understand. It's called Killer Cross-Examination, and it's very entertaining. And I recommend people go check Neil out. He's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I'm not here to plug myself. I'm here to plug you,
but
Mike.
it's a good.
He's taking on Robin Hood.
So anyway, that's not Rudoi, is it?
Rudoi's here. He just came in.
It is.
He came in.
So listen, just so you know, tell Rudoi that my money's on Boria. He'll know what I mean.
Yeah, you'll see what's up.
My money's on Boria, Yoga Man.
All right, we'll see.
Oh, I sense some battling. That's a big
Ciao, guys.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Neil. Love you. Hold on. We do have to recognize it. Of course, Earl Carruthers is here. We're going to hear his story and his claims of first cannabis use, if at all. But important is my dear friend David Rudoi is here. Yeah. When we last saw him, he was a single man. He is now appearing today. Let's see. Do you have a ring on? Hold it up.
Oh!
This man has recently gotten married.
David.
Look at he's
the married man.
Married man.
Not happy.
Okay.
First of all, you look like
time.
You look glowing with love and compassion and optimism and all those great things of love. I'm glad to see it. How was your trip? Did you have a great time?
It was the best. The best. Costa Rica is the best place. Costa Rica is the best, and it was a great trip.
It looked
12
very.
days.
It looked very. Looked awesome. Yeah, it looked awesome. The beach and stuff. So.
We had like a drug dealer mansion in the mountain.
Nice.
13 of my friends. It was
Nice.
a special experience. So.
Yeah, the picture.
Did you have to pay drug dealer prices, or was there a discount because it was? And was it like I'd imagine like it's.
I mean, it was essentially a few lawyers and a bunch of drug dealers, if you count weed.
You shared it? No, I understand that, but I'm saying, was it previously like a cartel? Is it just saying like a cartel?
No, it just kind of had that feel.
All right, good.
You know, with like the way the pillars were, and you're up in the mountains, and you got your own pool, and 10 bathrooms in the house, and
Like an Escobar moment.
yeah, it just felt a little Pablo Escobar.
That's cool.
You know, overlooking the beach from the mountains, and
12-foot diameter mirrored coffee table for no apparent reason.
Some powdery wet.
But it was a special place. You know, Costa Rica is my favorite place in the world. And yeah, but I'm happy to be here. 500th episode. I've been around since we were in the double digits.
I know Allie asked me the other day how I knew you, and I recanted the story. It was through A-Rock, right?
A-Rock, yeah.
And,
A-Bomb.
Tori and Bob Redden, right? That's how it originally started.
That was the first case, man.
And then,
I remember being at a CDAM conference, being like, what's up with this Michael Komorn guy? He won't call me back. And then we talked for like an hour about the case. Like, I was at a conference skipping class.
Does that happen?
Skipping class, yeah.
First of all, Aaron was like, A-Rock was, he was, like, once that happened, he was like so into that. Like, he hadn't been into any case like that until you guys started representing Tori. You know what I mean? Like, where's that been up until now? I'm just kidding.
Where's
I saw him.
on the
I
show
saw him
tonight?
the other. Yeah, I saw him. We have his. We had a funeral. It wasn't good, but he's doing all right. He's every time I see him, he's telling me stories. It's like Oh, did I tell you about?
But did you notice, like, he once was your young, straight out of law school, like, young-looking guy that worked for you, and now his hair is grayer than yours? And he arguably looks older than you, I would say.
I live real healthy, though. You got to understand that I'm no stress and.
You had no stress.
I had like 3,700 miles on Strava last year.
Yeah.
3,700, something like that. So, just kidding.
Lives
All right.
on like 2 hours of sleep at night.
I am not doing well on sleep right now.
No, you never are.
No, it's. I'm monitoring it though. You know.
Oh, so that makes it all right.
No,
I know what's happening, so.
Right, so.
Well, you've made it through 500. How many how many years is it? 'Cause I think it's more than 10 years because I think there's a couple episodes a year that don't happen. You know, a couple weeks a year that don't happen.
There's even a whole 100 probably before that was like, something else on the first one that we started again. First of all, there's a couple, so I don't know if this is my chance to talk about like my little rant, but this thing kind of started, I met this guy, Ken, what's so funny? Am I doing this okay? Do I have time or not?
You got plenty of time now.
Ken Harrell. Ken, he's
Ken Harrell. Yeah.
Do you remember him? He's been here on the show and stuff, and he is a stock advisor. He teaches classes on the market and whatnot. And he had become our marketing director at a time when I'd work with a group we moved into a building in Detroit for legal advice, and there was a doctor's place, and there was caregiver connecting with patients.
I just want to take a minute and
hold on.
And
go ahead.
How fucked up is it that you would have a business with a lawyer in one office and a doctor in the other, and it makes perfect sense? And I mean, I think that speaks to the sad state that we were in and that we still are in, where that people for using this plant as medicine are still being.
You're saying it sounds weird, or why? Or
no, I think it's ironic in a very sad and horrible way.
You're right. In fact, think about that. I mean, you're kind of. You really just minimized my entire existence.
I did not. I mean, the fact that
because my whole thing was that yes, I was like the first contact after the doctor's office.
Right.
Because
like, okay, I've got this recommendation. I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, like the doctor's like, hey, this is gonna help you out a lot. Now you got to go see the lawyer so you don't go to jail. You know.
I mean, my initial involvement was, in fact, some people may know this. Remember the MMMCC and that whole group or whatever, and they for some reason got a name in 2009 that had marijuana in it as their entity. You have to go to the first certified, right? So, putting that aside for a second and all those things out of there, but they were, they would have 20, 30 people on a Friday and a Saturday or whatever, and my office was next door in Southfield at the time, and they would come over. One of the things they pitched, have a free consult with a lawyer. So I loved it because I'd be sitting at a table like this. People be coming in. They were like kind of giggly that they were allowed to smoke cannabis, and then I'd say like.
And then you're like, are you ready to do 2 years in prison?
No, I would say. They would say, well, what do I do? They'd say, where do I do? Where do I go? Who do I talk to get my cannabis? I said, do you have a caregiver? And they'd say, what's a caregiver?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was like how people were coming out of nobody knew. You couldn't call someone to get an answer. You know what I mean? There had to be like a place so it made sense that they were there because that was the initiated point, and what happened after there. Yeah. I don't know. It was a lot of, and then on the other side, I'd have caregivers come into my office a lot that were saying like, listen, I'm going to grow some plants. Yeah. What do I got to do? I need some patience or not like that, but but I want to grow for people. That's what they want to do. So they needed, and there was, how else is it going to find its way through there? That's why I was saying And I wasn't doing anything that was like cannabis, but people needed to meet.
No, of course.
They needed to be.
Of course. I just think it's ridiculous. I've never gone to the doctor and there's like,
Mr. Powers,
I know. Here's a prescription for amoxicillin. You better go see Dave Rudoi because he's going to have to tell you how to use this stuff so you don't go to prison.
Drive it home and everything.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Dave, what do you have to say about this? I feel like Jim has just minimalized my entire existence.
No, I think what he's saying is that it was just it's a crazy time when your doctor is recommending for you to do something that you have to see a lawyer to do.
I agree.
I think it really is just a crazy time and that's like what that time created the existence of this show. Is that like there was all these people wanted to like take advantage of this amazing medicine and nobody had the answers. I mean, 2010, nobody knew what the fuck was going to happen with this law. Nobody. Not the judges, not any of the lawyers. Like, we all had our own ideas about what are the protections really, And for a lot of people, it was bullshit. For your clients, a lot of times, they actually got that protection. I can think of one in Howell, in the circuit court in Howell that said, just kept letting it ride and said, what is this? let's see what this law is really worth, you know. But most people folded. But shows like this, at least we're able to alert the public to a little bit of what the fucking rules are. Because you could read the law, but these court decisions were so fucking off the wall about, like, remember when I could give you weed, but I couldn't
get money.
I could get money I could get compensation, but I couldn't get paid. It couldn't be a sale.
Right.
That's what the police were saying. There was a case at around the time.
It was McQueen Court of Appeals. McQueen Court of Appeals was a fucking crazy decision.
Right.
I'm donating you this money.
I don't know. And but there's also a case called Green that came out at the same time as McQueen, and it later was remanded and changed to be consistent with McQueen. But they had patient-to-patient transfers were lawful without money. Like they could be gifted, you know, like they were right. That was kind of the Court of Appeals in McQueen, which was about, you know, you can transfer as long as there's no money. That's what they were saying. Like, and then the Supreme Court said a delivery doesn't, the crime of delivery.
They said you could transfer and get money for compensation. You could get compensation for, like, your costs.
No,
but it couldn't be a sale. But that's what a sale.
No. They were discussing. The Court of Appeals said that the crime, the violation of the who could do what had nothing to do with whether money was involved. Who can deliver to who. In criminal law, if I deliver marijuana to you, I don't need to get money for it to be a crime, you know, pre-legalization. See what I'm saying? Money is not an element in the criminality, and the Court of Appeals said that it was, okay? And they made a ruling that if you don't have money involved, it doesn't count as an illegal delivery, and patient-to-patients were allowed. They made some crazy kooky shit like that. They also said we're not touching...
Which ironically was better than how it ended.
So then this Green opinion also supported that, but then McQueen came along and said...
No,
Yeah, so... But anyways...
that was the period where there were no sales. So you could give somebody marijuana, and they could donate you money.
Well, no. What you're saying about this, you raised a really good point, and that was a debate that tore the community apart. Jamie Lowell, can we talk about that for a second? Like from day one, the question is how. Okay, in shorts, and there's a lot of ways. Like until at the core, the MMA is about the medical use, like being able to use cannabis, right? And from that flows all these other things, and like where to get it from, how to travel with it, how much can you carry. But the medical use was always the main function. Now, there was a time when there was a lack of ability to get it from anywhere, and there was a real need to be able to kind of direct people and make themselves available, and was it allowed, was it not allowed, and different, there's no Section 4, Section 8, Section 7 divides it, you know what I mean? You got, or... At one point, they said if you violate any part of Section 4, you couldn't get Section 8. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But things were all over the board and different interpretation. This is the facts, Jamie. A lot of the organization, good intentions that was really to provide community support that started out that way evolved to the next level because of just the basic tenets of capitalism and business and being able to quantify the effectiveness of all these things, just like the way capitalism and organic, things kind of grow, So you had that going on, and then you would, make sense to have a farmer's market, right? Well, to get all the good ones down here and never bring their goods in. So all these things make sense in the context of medicine, in this context of the MMA, but it was frowned on, argued about, potentially risky for patients to do that. And a lot of, so I'm saying this, what I'm trying to say is this kind of tore the community apart in different areas, the idea of storefronts. Go ahead, tell me your reflections of this.
No, I was remembering also there was a period of time that was pretty intense when we discussed here and warned people about the, what we were calling the hotel recommendations.
Yep, that was a thing too.
It was actually done by a licensed doctor with seeing somebody, everything, but there was enough there to disregard by the courts.
Well, it was an automatic way that the courts would technically destroy your affirmative defense. And what I'm trying to say is that, this was so important that like I liked having a sponsor for a doctor that we could refer someone to that knew and understood my gold standard certification. You know,
it was a great idea. It was a great idea. Well. Yeah, but it didn't end well.
For this one particular doctor, well, that was for other reasons. But
oops, did we?
There's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
There's other doctors. Let's talk about someone. There's Everybody remember, and I'm just saying this. He may not be liked, but there's the Bob Townsend. Everyone remember Dr. Bob? There's another Dr. Bob someplace else. I don't know, but he testified a bunch of times in my cases, and he had a protocol, and he'd come on the show early on. Jamie, remember, and he used to fly all over. But they may have done. I don't know. But the point was this: there was no doctors, and the ones that really did it. Call them what you want. They were putting their neck in the vice, you know.
I mean, I think there were a lot of hero doctors out there.
Of course.
To a large degree that put their fucking license on the line, potentially going to prison, you know, their
with good intentions.
Federal controlled substance
good
license.
Good intentions. I mean, there was a case that me and Neil were on, this 70-year-old guy in a back, you know, it was like a, whatever, it was like a garage. And they like set the guy up. It was ridiculous. They just went after this 70-year-old sweet man, and just for no reason. Anyway, but I'm saying, so Jamie, we did have a debate on our show where we discussed whether or not the hotel certification was valid or not. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the current status of certifications for patients is being done by telemedicine, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Just like the rest of medicine.
But I don't even know if the MRI cares anymore. The reality is that
my family hasn't been to a doctor in like 9 months.
Telemedicine was always a okay option.
It's a great option.
They just made up this bullshit idea of a physician-patient relationship.
No.
Having all these elements to it. But in malpractice, if a doctor's like on call, and the nurse is like, hey, this is what's going on with this guy. Like, what drug should I give him? And they're like, give him morphine. You know? Doctor doesn't have to ever see that person. You can sue that doctor.
Emergency room. Emergency room's an example.
Saying,
someone comes in the emergency room.
They don't need to meet. Changes in 2012. That was Kavanaugh's bill.
They do
he was
it.
The only Democrat that
in
Republican majority, just trying to get his name on his bill to get through. We warned him of the issues that may ensue with this, and then he did.
In normal medicine, it happens all the time. Ryan had his treatment back in August, and his doctor is a mother, and she was going through the same thing. Everybody's going through as far as schooling her children at the time and getting them going. And she was working from home, and she attended to him while he was getting chemotherapy over telemedicine, and it was great. It was exactly what we wanted, and it was better than interfacing with a doctor we weren't familiar with. And the idea that we can't do that for a medical marijuana recommendation is ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing was that for some reason, when they created the amendment, it was in 2012. Allen, correct me if I'm wrong, but they included into the act a more specific definition of what bona fide meant. It said, originally it was a bona fide doctor-patient relationship, but then they defined bona fide, and one of the elements of it was David Rudoi in person.
Yeah, in person.
Okay, now.
But what does that mean?
While they were creating that, they were also passing all kinds of legislation forcing insurance companies to pay for telemedicine. So you had one side of the state saying it's important, it's good and effective, and the insurance companies have to pay for it. And then, but I don't know that it can be said. I don't know that it can be said that the passing of that legislation, the definition of in-person, actually means face-to-face.
Right, exactly.
David Rudoi. Let's talk Allen Peisner. Any other
in that amendment to the law that you just described, they did define the bona fide physician-patient relationship, and they gave it 4 elements that needed to be established. They did that in the same act where they corrected the typo that it prevented people from claiming Section 8 because it originally read except as provided in Section 7, and they corrected it to read except as provided in Section 7B.
All right.
Anyway, that was the same law when they did that as when they added this physician-patient relationship. So it was kind
What
of.
are the elements? What are the elements as you're looking at it? One, of course, is in person. I know what they are. Do you want me to tell you? Are you looking at it? It looks like you're looking at the computer, and you're going to do a legal
pull
update.
it up
I'll
very
tell you what there's like. In person. Keeping of medical records if relevant.
Physical examination.
Yeah.
Physical.
Reviewing medical records.
Yeah, I don't even know physical. An examination. Does a physical examination?
Expectation of follow-up.
Ongoing follow-up relation. Expectation of the doctor.
The efficacy.
Yeah. So it's like.
Right. Bona fide physician-patient relationship means a treatment or counseling relationship between a physician and patient in which all of the following are present. 1. The physician has reviewed the patient's relevant medical records and completed a full assessment of the patient's medical history and current medical condition, including a relevant in-person medical evaluation of the patient. 2. The physician has created and maintained records of the patient's condition.
All right. That's the in-person. Now, it has always been assumed, but there's never been a... I don't know, Alan.
Anyway, there's two other elements besides that. Go ahead.
You want to go ahead? Tell them what they are.
Well, all right.
I want to talk about it in person.
Records. Number 3 is the reasonable expectation that he'll provide follow-up care. That he or she will provide follow-up care.
Okay,
and 4, if the patient is given permission, the physician has notified the patient's primary care physician of the debilitating medical condition and the certification for medical use.
If you knew the number of times that I've said that, written that, explained it, and talked to other patients about it, getting prepared.
That was one of the dumbest ones.
No, but I'm saying that whole thing of like, this is what you're going to do when you testify.
Yeah.
You got to cover these things. Like, let's talk, all right, so not telling them what they're going to testify, but like what all right. Anyways, my point is that, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, but and I know that some trial courts have found that there's no bona fide doctor-patient relationship. David, there's been a lot of findings on prong 1, upheld by the Court of Appeals, that there was no bona fide doctor-patient relationship between the doctor and the patient. Am I right about that? Has that been a ruling? Has that been a ruling that has been one that people have...
It's the number one way people lost Section 8 defenses is the bona fide doctor-patient relationship, which is such a bullshit concept in the first place, and we just went through it. I mean, these are ridiculous requirements.
Well, first of all, I don't know if it means that you actually have to be in person. I would say that there probably are rulings that say that there wasn't in person.
I mean, it literally says in person in the law.
But does it mean... What does that mean?
David, when you're arraigned, do you have to be in court in person?
Well, there's no law that says in person with arraignments, but there is with the Section 8.
In court, you have to be in court for your arraignment. It's an automatic. It's a what do you call it?
They've extended the court virtually out into your home.
Well, they're extending the medical office virtually.
You just give me the finger.
No, I said that's why
exactly
if you give the finger to the judge or something like that, you can be held in contempt of court.
Because you're in court.
You're in
on
court.
video.
On video.
In person. If you have a,
video?
It is a what is it, Alan? Help me. It's not a fundamental right. It's a critical stage of the proceedings, right? Critical. There shall be no case that goes. They will start from the beginning if the defendant is not present at their arraignment, because that technical, substantive, constitutional right to be notified of the charges and read them and offer a plea.
I think they should just make the law like in person now includes the pandemic.
It always
taught us a
has.
lesson.
How can David? That's the first thing, right? I mean, if that's in person.
I mean, I wouldn't say that like if you have sex over the internet that's in-person sex. Like it's not. Video is not the same, right?
It's probably.
You call that sex? You guys call that sex?
No, I'm just thinking.
Sex, you're like,
I'm just thinking
I got
about
laid last night,
No, I'm just thinking in terms of the. I don't know. I don't think it is. No, I'm just saying.
Glandular abuse.
Earl, we want to hear Earl's story. He's been waiting around for way too long. Every time he puts his bag out, like he's going to leave. Yeah, so I know he's got an interesting story because I think Earl was not a. He did not use cannabis at all. He was being trained to be a professional tennis player. Is that what the story is?
Is that right?
Champ Carruthers and I think he took on the Williams sisters a couple of times. No, come on.
My dad was a pro, like really good tennis player. But I took football. For the ladies.
Can't hear you.
For the ladies.
Alan Peisner demands that you move closer.
Is this closer? Is this
Yeah,
good?
That's good. Yeah.
Football. So yeah, is this on? Can you hear me? Is it good?
Yeah. Good.
So yeah, I basically thought if I smoked cannabis as an athlete, that I would rape white women. So I did not want to catch that case. Is this better?
Is that real? You didn't really think that. I mean,
you can hear microphone is right there.
Here.
It's this.
Alan, don't tell us what to do.
I'm sorry.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Is it better?
Louder.
Is it okay? Is this good right here?
Project your voice here.
Sounds loud to me.
All right, this is very technical. You guys had a whole show and only me can't hear. All right, so I thought if I consumed cannabis that I would rape white women, and I never wanted to catch that case. Reefer Madness? No, I did. Yeah, Reefer Madness. Yeah. It was.
What made you think that? What I mean, that's the thing from Reefer Madness. That's the movie. But where did you hear that? Who told you that?
What was the whole like dare and things like that? Was the yeah. I thought it had a different effect on black men.
Oh,
and made
is that
them
right?
do certain things.
Did they have a special dare program for black men?
No.
That sounds outrageous.
It's just the whole.
I think it's just like the drug war in general, like the reefer madness that they raise people with.
Yeah.
I know that, but
it's
that's
like how they scared back when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. They said that it would make black men rape white women. The cocaine. That's why they took the cocaine out of Coca-Cola.
And that was enough deterrent for me to never really try to partake.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But it didn't. I mean, wow. So you were, because I maintain that there was people that growing up like athletics that they would never smoke marijuana. Just, drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad. Okay. But the South Park.
Yeah.
But
We can't hear you, Michael.
And then also the movie Earl the Goat actually scared me about drugs too. He was like a 5'6"
Earl the Goat?
Basketball player from like Harlem. Like literally can jump up and touch the back of the top of the backboard. Yeah.
Bugs or no?
Well, that was not him, but he was like that.
Okay, fine.
But he got hooked on drugs, and then it was heroin. But But I'm seeing everything kind of all up in one
marijuana is a
thing.
gateway drug.
Yeah.
Everybody here has
So that was
used
the-
heroin.
But nevertheless, I became a caregiver, and as a caregiver, I grew some things. Then after that, it came to a point. Well, man, I was asked, "Have you ever tried that?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Wow, you should probably try it before you give it to your patients." And then at that moment, I tried it.
Wow.
Didn't you have like
So it wasn't until then.
Injury in your.
I had a cracked pelvis through my senior year in high school to play college football, but I never wanted to take opioids and nothing like that. So I did use natural remedies back then. But
Cannabis?
no. It wasn't until after college I tried cannabis. Yeah, but that did help out with the pain after that. So yeah, that was my. Try to be quick. I know there's a lot of people on this show and all that jazz, but yeah. It wasn't until after I became a caregiver, and actually the lady who I ended up marrying kind of peer pressured me to actually trying it. So
It is a different.
It's like the apple of knowledge, guys. Like the apple of knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I need my mic back because I can't. Give it back, come on. It's been too long. Okay. I say this with, and I think it's still unfortunately resonating, but the experience of regarding cannabis is completely different between races. It's unfortunate. I say this all the time. There's like lawyer friends of mine from Detroit that we agree about everything. Not every, it's not every, but like there's some that I just feel like they politically would agree about everything, but they would didn't have any experiences with cannabis because they knew that if they went over and tried it as they were growing up, they were told that they would get arrested, and they would. And the kids that did get arrested got a case, never became a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So they see that and I'm saying that because just the statistics say that group is going to
5 times more likely.
Right. So I have had judges, you know what I'm saying, that they see it and learned it to be like, well, that's the problem, counsel. I just think he's sitting around all day smoking weed and eating, ding-dongs or whatever.
Probably
playing video
not-
games.
probably
you know
not
what I'm
the
saying?
problem.
Because that's how, just kind of the same way it had to be, and listen, it is a product of the war on drugs in general, obviously, because you know, it's if that's, you know, listen. At the end of the day, it's almost like you had to come up with something that was gonna, you know, because if it was taught any other way and you thought anything else, you may have gotten some kind of shit trouble. You could have been bent into the wrong direction if you thought it was cool. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everyone here, I mean, some people had experience like 8 years old, you know, and 10 years old, and 13 and 14.
Crazy.
Driving in a car was the other thing I was saying. For Jamie, the statistics were Jamie Lowell was responsible for most people trying marijuana for the first time. Jamie Lowell up there, and then a lot of people were like, I was driving the car, someone hit, you know, gave me the joint, like just you know, but you know, it's just an interesting dynamic because it wasn't. I don't know. Can anyone say they heard that kind of shit about? I don't know. I didn't have any like built-in. I mean, maybe there was some. The Reagan era with the fucking "This is your brain on drugs" was really the first campaign.
I feel like that was. I thought when I started smoking weed at 10 years old, I thought I had to like space it out because I only had so many brain cells to kill.
Right. Did I ask you when you started smoking?
I actually was just turned 11 years old. I smoked out of a 20-ounce bong. I made like with a straw and a bunch of.
You MacGyvered it.
Yeah, MacGyvered it. Straw and a bunch of tin foil. It's my friend's 11th birthday, right after my 11th birthday.
And you've been smoking ever since?
I've been smoking ever since. Yeah, it was a.
Did you get high right away?
Yeah, good first experience. Good first experience for me. And I was like, oh, you know. But then at first, I still thought like, am I gonna get, like, I'm gonna get dumber from doing this probably, but it's still that fun.
But he still went forward with it.
Yeah.
And look at you now, Dave. You're a lawyer,
he's a lawyer.
accomplished attorney.
Well, it's like once I started to learn, you know, more. I think that somewhere in middle school, I started digging into like the research about like where the medical research was at that time. It's like, oh, there's this stuff. It doesn't kill brain cells. Alcohol kills way more brain cells. And you know, obviously, I dug in and I became a marijuana advocate. You know, eventually that. You know, I think marijuana, for the people that marijuana makes them feel good, it clearly makes people's lives better. You know, there's some people that have, you know, negative reactions to the drug, and it gives them anxiety or whatever. But if it works the opposite effect, I think the world would be a better place if more people smoked marijuana. You know, and it's getting better every day.
Yeah.
Because of Jamie Lowell getting so many people to try marijuana.
Well, I am kind of glad I started later because. I probably would still be fighting this 10-year case right now about brownies.
Yeah.
That is still.
I can't believe
that is going on.
It's
now.
still going on right now.
I don't know, probably.
No, I was gonna say.
Stop showing up.
I can't believe it's over. It's like the end of it. It's like the end of an era with your Earl Carruthers case finally over.
Yeah.
Wow, that was epic. I mean, there's a lot of he may be one of the top like topics of. You know, conversation of how crazy things were, and right because the case going up.
Yeah, the whole situation
Appeals,
highlighted everything that's wrong with law enforcement and the government in the state of Michigan, and it was not great. I'm sure Earl didn't enjoy it either.
Jamie, it looks like you had something to say there. Were you about to say something? Oh.
You're leaving? Wait, I want you to stay. Listen.
Thank you, though.
Alan wants to do it. Alan, are you doing a legal update? Are you doing a legal update? I'm not asking for it. I just didn't know. I heard
it's 10:20.
I want to say this, just while Earl being here. You know, there's a bunch of sweeping. It's kind of interesting, and I just want to say how bizarre this is in light of, you know, the way we've observed some of the licenses that have been given out for medical cannabis regulations, and also the recreational laws and the. Someone mentioned Don Bailey, but like the basis of these denials. David Rudoi, listen to me. What was the basis of many of the denials issued by Don Bailey? If you're paying attention,
essentially that everybody were illegal operators.
Or what's the legal term of the? They didn't have not enough misdemeanors. They didn't have too many felonies. They were eligible, but they found
bad moral character.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Don Bailey of the board who didn't believe in medical marijuana.
Right. So it's obviously a subjective assessment, right? So Jamie, listen to this. And I found this to be remarkable. And I have clients that the denial of their license was because of moral character. And so here you go. When you do expungement legislation with the idea that these folks need to be able to work, and we got to clean their record, and having convictions for this long is bad for them, it's over punishing. We want to reform them and make them eligible to come back into the workforce. That's the idea, right? But what happens? They have no source of income because they've been felons, right? Arguably, they haven't really been able to show that's helped for them to get work. They have bad credit. They have bad financial. They may have like lawsuits against them or judgments, and they have a prior record, right? So if you expunge their record, they still have financial issues, right? Yeah. So if you're removing someone's record and they're still not of good, moral character, and they can still deny you, what's the purpose of doing expungement? So you can't really do one without the other if you're going to really have some meaning. So sure enough, the bills that they were passed, which go into effect in April, address the issue of good moral character, and they say that you cannot use prior conviction alone as a basis to deny someone based on moral character. In some instances, you can use it to consider it, such as if you have a child abuse case and there's an application for a license for a child care center or something like that. Right. All right. The other one is you cannot use judgments alone as a basis to deny for good moral character, which is the two things that they've been using to deny everybody. But it really makes a lot of sense in the context of true reform. Like if you're really going to have a reform and try to... What do you mean?
Do they have to give you a written statement as to why, like what particularly about their moral character?
Yeah.
Okay.
They will. And I have a case that involves your prior record. He's eligible otherwise. If he has a prior record, it's not a David, it's not a misdemeanor within 5 years or a felony within 10 years. You're eligible, right? But if you have those that, supersede that or are outside of that time frame, it's still judgeable. But this amendment, do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you know the amendment I'm talking about?
I've been paying attention to all the amendments pretty well on expungement.
You didn't hear what I was saying?
I did.
I didn't say about expungement.
Oh, you weren't?
No, you weren't listening. I know you weren't.
You were talking about expungement.
He was, and then he moved on.
Oh. I was back. Maybe I missed a lot.
You actually assisted to the conversation because I said to you, what's the reason for the denial?
Moral character. They outlined it.
Oh, moral character, yeah.
Right, so there's a bunch of amendments about that. That's helpful for your clients that are getting denied for moral character. Just think about it. All right.
I haven't had a single denial in the...
I don't either. I'm doing appeals. I'm doing appeals. David, I'm doing appeals. We have 100%.
He's batting 1,000, Michael. What do you think about that?
We're betting a million.
I have clients with very good moral character.
Oh, I see. Well, those are the only kind, right?
They're not
David.
My clients.
David. That's nice. That's nice, David. I'm representing some people that have been wrongly evaluated and judged for their moral character, and we're their counsel on appeal after they were.
And on that note,
I can speak on first hand of that too. Yeah. You know that, right?
We have to close it up.
Got denied because of that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
By Bailey? By Bailey or since then?
Taste buds.
Come on.
Taste buds.
All right,
yeah.
right.
We have a...
You should be still
new
like
case.
you tried it. You tried with it.
Alan, what? Alan, speak. Jamie, get ready to shut it down.
Shut it down.
Got denied.
Okay, final last words. We had a new case come out last week.
But under rec, you get a 25% discount. Remember that.
Okay.
Swinging.
Final last words.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
To rec.
Okay, we had a new case come out last week, a published case from the Court of Appeals called York versus Miller. It came out January 28th, and it just talked about DeRuyter all over again in the context of the Charter Township of York. And the thing about that one that really stand out was outdoor grows. So we need to stay tuned with the people from York Township and see if they're going to really enforce this zoning ordinance to prohibit outdoor grows, which is just unthinkable. And if they are, fining people, I want to know about it.
All right.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Ellen, I won't ask you if you have a
shutting it down.
specific interest in outdoor grows or why, but we can come back to you and you can be an expert and consult on that and the legal issues. You sound like you're flying over in a helicopter right now over that grow right now. All right, my friend Earl Carruthers.
Right now, I'm in the
Earl, I love you, brother.
Green
I love you.
Trees
Take care. Hold on. Will you come back and do some more action?
all righty then.
Come back again.
All right.
All right.
Happy 500, everybody. We're out.
Bye, John, Tracy.
The Planet Green Trees Show.
Join the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association today, michiganmedicalmarijuana.org. The MMMA is focused on the well-being and safety of medical marijuana patients. The MMMA site provides the most comprehensive and up-to-date news on legal issues, politics, research, cultivation, as well as the various strange products and methods of cannabis use. Come join the discussion with the most knowledgeable and passionate advocates in Michigan today. michiganmedicalmarijuana.org.
Before you plead, call me, Attorney Michael Komorn.
An important and historical farm crop in American agriculture is returned after having been classified as a controlled substance and illegal. On December 20th, 2018, the President signed the Farm Bill, also known as the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018, into law. The signing of the act was great news for the hemp industry, which amended the definition of marijuana in the Federal Controlled Substances Act. Hemp is now defined as the plant, Cannabis sativa L, and any part of the plant, growing or not, with less than 0.3% THC concentration on a dry basis. The plant itself is no longer a controlled substance. Hemp is one of the most versatile plants on earth. From clothing, fiber, paper, building materials, hempcrete, biofuels, CBD, and medical uses, it has been a part of America's industry for over 200 years. Even the United States Constitution was drafted on hemp paper. The time is now. If you're thinking of getting in the farming or processing of hemp, contact our global experts, legal, and consultation teams to make sure that you're on the right road when you venture into the new hemp industrial revolution. Michigan Hemp Industries has been a leader and advocate for the return of the hemp industry, so come be a part of the new revolution in agriculture in Michigan.
We have launched.
We have completely launched. We've started the show, and it is Planet Green Trees. We're about to embark 2 hours of medical marijuana and marijuana reform in Michigan, and nationally, and internationally, and even in Spaceland. There's an argument that we evolved from the cannabis plant. Let's just be honest, okay?
Ow, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
420th episode.
If you're a connoisseur, you're going to want the good stuff. And if you want the good stuff, you're going to go for the mom and pop stuff because that's the good stuff.
It's just a real pleasure to come here and congratulate you on your 420th show, and thank you for having me on a few times over the 420.
Komorn Law. Michael Komorn is one of the top attorneys in Michigan that has experience and dedication in criminal defense law. Komorn Law can take your case from arrest all the way from trial, appeals, and even to the Supreme Court. The team at Komorn Law has the compassion and the experience you can look to for help in your time of need. Komorn Law has over 25 years experience in criminal defense. We have accomplished numerous legislative changes through community involvement and lobbying. Our award-winning law firm has a reputation like no other for keeping overreaching government accountable and in check. We have built Komorn Law for people who need lawyers to stand up to the system, fight back and win. Once we become your lawyer, you become a part of our family. Don't settle for less, just ask our clients. Komorn Law, the best damn criminal defense lawyers, period.